Church itself tells us that, I think this is in Sacrosanctum Concilium, that liturgical symbols should not need explanations, but should speak naturally. So, for example, water, in our experience, is very clearly an element that points towards washing, refreshment, and other natural uses from which we derive the deeper sacramental meaning and truth, right? Water regenerates, and water does give not just refreshment, but new life in baptism, and it does wash away sin. Water is also, a very powerful symbol of death. At least in the past, anyone who would be going on the seas would know how very perilous it was. We tend not to think of water as dangerous anymore, but from the Old Testament, that water would drown the Egyptians in their chariots and so on, right? As they tried to cross the Red Sea. So we know that water is also a symbol of death, and therefore it's about our dying to sin and rising to new life. Water is therefore a very powerful symbol. It carries all these natural connotations, which you then can easily give new interpretations in the light of the truth of the spiritual life. Other things are less obvious, and therefore one has to work harder, I think. And a good example of this would be, well, maybe I just haven't got the eyes to see it, but abstract art, for example. So I see a few blotches on a wall and you think, what am I looking at? What am I supposed to be appreciating here? And you have to go and say, oh, let's go and read the label, because the label will point things out. You gotta go, oh, right, so that's what that is. And yes, it kind of makes sense, because the mind wants to make sense and wants to bring order out of chaos. That's just the way the mind works. And so if someone says, oh, this is what it means, we will kind of incline towards and say, okay, fine, we can accept that. And I think those are therefore, false symbols, or false interpretations, because every person can interpret it, a bunch of splotches or so waves of color in different ways. And I think that's part of its attraction for the modern man, because modernity doesn't like anything that's objective, anything that's outside of me imposing its reality on me, but rather I must be the arbitrator of what is true, what is right, of meaning. I'm the subject, right? So I'm not just the subject, I'm the agent, right? I'm the agent of reality. So I can say what this means, how it makes me feel. And people like abstract art because of that. And they like the fact that different people can interpret it differently. I think that's problematic in itself. Because once we become the sole creator of meaning, then we take really the place of God. And the reason we have such difficulties, I think, in preaching the truth, in teaching objective morality, and living according to those canons of right living, is because, sinful man rebels against being imposed upon and being told that this is what we must do or conform ourselves to.